Hello and welcome to week 1 of the basic course on how to develop a magnetic gaze that attracts anyone, anytime. This e-course is part of the Charisma School website where you can find plenty of free personal development courses on how to maximize your human potential and increase your inner power. We've all heard the expression that we're only using 10% of our brains. Whether this statement is true or not, it doesn't matter. We all know that we could do more, that we have more potential that we are using it right now. And all of these courses are a way to develop your potential a little bit further and be able to really maximize your human abilities in order to improve your life in different aspects. Charisma School focuses specially on inner power, but these free courses will have many different skills and abilities. You are free to distribute these courses to whoever you want, as long as they remain unchanged, meaning the audio, video, and written materials that accompany them are not changed in any way or form. Now, please pause the video and read this disclaimer. Don't proceed with the rest of the course without understanding and accepting what is written here. To start this video, it's important to answer the more important question, which is, what is the magnetic gaze? The magnetic gaze is an ancient system with a set of techniques and practices that transform your eyes into powerful communication and influence tools. It's the most effective method for nonverbal communication, influence, and charisma. For a very long time, the eyes have been considered as the windows of the soul. If we think about it more carefully, we can realize how important the eyes are in communicating with others. You fall in love with people's eyes. You can see if a person is being honest or lying just by the eyes. You can see warmth in someone's eyes. You can see power and rage and even desperation. Communication is made a good deal by the eyes, since they are really important to communicate accurately with others and to get to know them a little bit better. But they can also be used for evil. The Italians have a word to describe the power of the eyes used for evil called malocchio, which literally means bad eye. In ancient times, witches and warlocks developed their gaze with similar exercises that you're about to learn, in a way that they can curse someone with the power of their eyes, hence the expression, if looks could kill. The eye has been described as a small-sized volcano, in most cases latent, quiet, sleeping, but the center of the most intensely heated zone ready to glow when aroused. So these practices are a way to bring out and demonstrate the hidden energies of the body by the power of the eyes. As you move on to this course, you realize that little by little your eyes feel a bit more powerful, more intense, more focused in whatever that you are doing. As a side effect of the development of the magnetic gaze, you'll also develop a wonderful memory stimulant, fertility of ideas and creativity, building inventive power, develop mental alertness, and avoiding mental breakdowns. In short, this practice can really be a way to strengthen your own mind and develop abilities that you never thought you had. None of these benefits will be targeted directly by these lessons, but they will happen naturally. If you follow through with each lesson, you will recognize the fact that each accomplishment that is designed to awaken and arouse the latent magnetism of the body has a wide field of practical usefulness in all other directions apart from the study of the magnetic gaze. Some of the practices are similar to a yoga meditation called Tratak or yogic gaze. This practice consists in looking directly at the flame of a candle without blinking for a long period of time. They claim a lot of benefits for this practice, but we'll talk about this specifically in a further lesson. Although we are teaching the basic Tratak practice, we won't deal with the advanced Tratak, which can only be taught after you have all the foundations of magnetic gaze and already a well-developed power of the eyes. Now, a little history lesson. Where does these techniques and methods come from? Nearly 40 years ago, our main teacher met an old man in southern Italy, a well-traveled painter who also worked in a rural community. He had something that you couldn't really put your finger on. An aura of mystery that surrounded him, an immense charisma and the most intense eyes that you've ever seen. It seemed like everyone just wanted to talk to him and be near him. Yet, he was just a modest man from a rural Italian village. Not particularly sophisticated, well-spoken or handsome. But there was more to this man than what you saw at first glance, although he didn't reveal his story and his knowledge to anyone. Through a stroke of luck, our main teacher, still young at that time, fell into the good graces of this old man and became one of his few personal students. He discovered out that this old man was the master of several mystical and esoteric teachings, yet he was a practitioner in the true sense of the word. But he was an unknown practitioner by choice, one that wouldn't care less about fame and money and getting worldly rewards. He only cared about being left alone so he could proceed with his own development and earn his living by simple means. Next, during the next 20 years, many things were shared, but some of the most important things he learned was how to develop his own inner power and charisma, how to develop his gaze and the magnetic gaze system, of course, and also how to develop his meditation and concentration, which is a big part of the system, among other things. He learned so much that he spent the next 20 years doing more research individually and perfecting it until he modernized it and reached a concrete and solid step-by-step system that anyone could follow. We found out that most of these teachings and the original system is older than we originally thought. We discovered that they have some roots in the ancient teachings of Hermeticism, which is a set of philosophical and religious beliefs that shaped Western esoterical thought. The figure of Hermes was venerated as a great mythical teacher in the ancient world and was recently rediscovered by the finest minds of the Renaissance. The writings attributed to him are like a time capsule of Egyptian and Greek and esoteric philosophy and have influenced figures including Newton, Shakespeare, Leonardo da Vinci, and Jung. From an old notebook, we knew that an old master of these teachings traveled to India, Tibet, and Nepal, and he learned how to expand his framework of knowledge, which included inner power, charisma, and magnetic gaze systems. He expanded it even further using their techniques, so to the best of the Western knowledge, it was also added Eastern teachings, so it became even more eclectic and powerful than it was before. It seems that this system has been refined for centuries by very few select individuals. Books weren't published about it, and very few writings are available. The knowledge is scattered among Hermetic writings, French mesmeric hypnosis tradition, Tibetan meditation systems, Indian yogic teachings, and even in the American New Thought movements, which they grabbed the best of the French gaze tradition and the Hermetic knowledge. It never really reached mainstream knowledge as other mystical traditions, since it was really individually developed. During the last several thousand years, the work has resurfaced from obscurity sometimes, yet it quickly went away again to obscurity, at least until now, where we are bringing back these old teachings. We believe this is the right time to bring these teachings into the light of the world. They are valuable and have the potential to be very useful in our day-to-day world, where inner power is a lost concept, and with the growth of consumerism and capitalism, we grow weaker every day, being enslaved by the banks, governments, and marketing agents. We seem to need everything and everyone just to be happy and fulfilled. We go full out against this way of thinking and offer an alternative way of thinking, a way that empowers the individual and not enslaves it. The inner power and charisma teachings are a starting point, the same way that our magnetic gaze teachings are. Ideally, they are done at the same time in a way that you can synergistically develop your eye power and your inner power. Now that you know a bit more about the background, let's continue with the magnetic gaze course. Here are just some of the other benefits you'll get from the training of the magnetic gaze. You'll develop a firm, steady, and unfearful gaze, meaning that you'll be able to look at others in a steady and powerful way without feeling uncomfortable. We've all went through the situation of being a little bit uncomfortable by looking others straight in the eye and saying something. With this practice, you'll never have to go through this uncomfortable feeling again. You'll also start to attract more people to you. It's only natural, considering that your eyes will become truly magnetic. So with it, you'll be able to fascinate others to follow you. You'll also create attraction from the opposite sex. This is another natural consequence, but to really be powerful, there are specific exercises for this, and will probably be taught in a later course. You'll also develop increased power of the eyes. Transmit what you want to transmit, and which means that the message that you are trying to convey, others will be way more explicit and easily transmitted, since the eyes will become a much better conductor for your thoughts. You'll also command respect and power, since your gaze will become really firm and powerful. But you'll also have a technique to use when you want to command more respect. And lastly, you'll become more charismatic and develop your projectabilities of your intention. It's important that you understand that this is the basic free course of the magnetic gaze, which means that you'll get a taste of the magnetic gaze and its power, but some pieces are missing, and it's not the full training and system. The magnetic gaze is a much broader system. Not only does it involve influence and attraction, but also involves way of communication generally with others, as well as awareness and inner exploration of your own mind and being. There are several different stages you go through with the power of the gaze, and little by little you'll be introduced to different areas and skills that you can achieve with your eyes. Not only there are eye and gaze exercises, but you'll also have breathing, energy, will, mind exercise, and much more. As you can imagine, it's not suitable to learn from a free set of small videos. However, most people don't even know that the eyes have this amazing power, and for that, I provide this basic course as a way to start to explore the power of the eyes. If you hold your disbelief for 4 weeks and can actually do these exercises, something will change in you and in your eyes. You'll realize that you can have more power than what appears at first glance. After you are convinced that this is possible to increase the power of the eyes and have at least experienced some of the benefits, you can proceed if you want with the full training of the eyes to unleash your eyes' power a little bit further. That's why we created the Magnetic Gaze Foundations course inside the Magnetic Gaze Training Academy. With this Foundations course, you really get everything you need to get real-world benefits and also the possibility of evolution on this system that the basic course will never have. You'll learn the foundations of magnetic gaze system, not just the eyes, but also the other energetic components. You'll be surprised to know that how far the magnetic gaze system can reach. This way, the Foundations will be ideal course for learning the magnetic gaze. The Foundation is not a sequel to the basic course. You can do the Foundations without having done the basic course. This basic course is a sample of the magnetic gaze. The Foundations is the actual original teachings as were done for centuries. As you join the Foundations course, you'll also have a lifetime membership to the Magnetic Gaze Training Academy, which is the online academy where the Foundations course is stored and where all the remaining levels and teachings will be held. All those advanced magnetic gaze courses will only be open to those students who have completed the Foundations course. As you can certainly understand, you need to master all the foundations before moving on to advanced material. It's our goal to provide the full magnetic gaze system in there so that this system doesn't get lost in history. At this moment, less than a handful of people in the world know the full system. That's why we are making it available, to give it new blood and avoid letting it die. No longer it can continue as a secret tradition as it were for centuries. It's been dying and new practitioners are hard to find. It's not easy or accessible to provide this full system since we are literally decoding and translating from ancient notebooks and providing it in an easy and straightforward manner in audios and videos for easy consumption. But it's being done. That's why we're proud to announce the launch of this first course and the Magnetic Gaze Training Academy. You can go to magneticgaze.com to have all the details. With that said, let's continue with the basic course. Remember, suspend your disbelief for 4 weeks, then decide for yourself if this is a skill worth pursuing or not. Before we start with the exercises, there is an important eye relaxation tip that you need to learn so that you don't strain your eyesight with all the exercise of this course. With this course, you'll start bodybuilding for the eyes, so if you don't relax the eyes, you'll easily go into overtraining and possibly hurt them on the long run. The exercise is called palming and is very easily accomplished. You'll just put both of your hands over the eyes without pressing hard and just stay in that position for 3 to 5 minutes. The important part is making sure that you cover your eyes for all light sources and you just see, so to speak, black. It's not necessarily to press the eyes, just cover them. You can do this sitting down with your elbows resting on a table and your back straight. Do this after each training session. The first exercise is called Dot on a Wall and is the very basic exercise to develop eye power and a fixed gaze. Before you start, remove glasses or contact lenses. And then, standing or sitting on a straight back chair, choose any small dot on a wall. You can also print out a circle with a small dot in any sheet of paper will do. Put this sheet of paper on the eye level and 1 arm's length away. Open your arms completely, the more the better. And then spend 3 to 5 minutes looking at the dot without blinking, without twitching the eyelids, and without moving your gaze, as steady and unblinking as possible. Do it for 3 to 5 minutes for the next 7 days, at least twice a day. And don't overdo it. Just do it this 3 to 5 minutes. Then finish with palming exercises. Exercise 2 is separating masses into details. In India, there is a minor group of people that has developed a truly unbelievable power of the gaze solely by the practice of separating masses into details and catching the details as separate units. Each distinct. For example, when you look at a tree, you can see this tree solely as a whole, either it's beautiful or not, or you can look at all the minor details that a tree has, like the different formats of the leaves, the colors of each leaf, the texture of the wood, and so on. Each unit can then be processed inside your mind as a separate unit so that you start to have a more refined thinking by lowering your threshold of perception and seeing things that were there all along but only now you become aware of them. The clumsy mind sees everything in a big mass. The refined and advanced mind will split the masses into several details so that they can each be processed. Some persons who have uncanny and apparent supernatural abilities are trained just on this exercise alone. This exercise gives the mind the most wholesome, invigorating, and stimulating development as a means for preparation for greater achievements. As a result, the mind grows keener, stronger, and more alert. So what can you do? The next time that you're out talking with someone, start to catch the minor marks and details on the other person's face, like small moles, wrinkles, the position of the eyes, like where does the lower eyelid stand when he or she is talking about himself, where does it stand when she is hearing you talk, the upper lip is always on the same position or not, where does it stand, the lower lip considering to the upper one, and what different shades of color can you spot in his face, hair, facial hair, and skin, what physical traits do you like or dislike, and so on. You can find millions of subtleties on each person's face, and each person's face is completely different, so you'll have a lifetime of exercises ahead of you. In reading the face of a person, thoughts and feelings of that person are transmitted in a very clear and lucid way, almost as telepathy. And this is only the side effect, but remember, the important part is not reading faces, but in separating the details from the masses. The result is a powerful magnetic eye. There will be more exercises for separating masses into details in the upcoming lesson. Start by doing this and you'll be pleasantly surprised by the cumulative results that you'll achieve on a later stage. Here's the summary of your exercise schedule for the next 7 days. First, you'll do 3 to 5 minutes of exercise 1, dot on a wall, and a maximum of twice a day. Then you can do palming 3 to 5 minutes after exercise 1. Palming can also be done anytime during the day since it's a very relaxing exercise. And then each time you're out socially, do exercise 2. And this is it for the first week. Good luck in your practice, and you can always send me over your comments, feedbacks, and problems that you're having.